It's great to have the opportunity to share my thoughts on the conference and insights I've come across recently. One of the things I wanted to mention is that there's a kind of a language issue as a designer that I wanted to get on the table, and that is talk about hitting the reset button. And Jeff Immelt has been quoted as saying that that's sort of where we're at. And other people are familiar with an article in The Economist magazine that said we need to reboot our global economic system. And the problem with things, words like reset and reboot from a design standpoint is they don't necessarily get you to a new, better design. They may clean up the existing design, but what you're left with is a clean version of something that has crashed before and will crash again. So I am really delighted that one of the themes of this conference is managing as designing, because what I hope people will come away with is the recognition that we need to literally come up with a better design, one that won't crash as the one we've had has. So that's a distinction in language, but also a key design concept that we want to come up with a new design, or we want to redesign how we are organized, not just hit the reset or the reboot button. And from a large design system perspective, I found a book in my library from 1991, just before the Rio conference, and it was a book supported by the UN prior to that conference. It's called Only One World, Ours to Own, Our Own to Make and to Keep, written by Gerard Peel, the founder of Scientific America, with an introduction from Maurice Strong, who was the Secretary General of that first Rio conference. And there's a little quote I wanted to read because it gets to this design question. It says here in the first chapter, the prospects for the transfer of such assistance are strongly conditioned by the long-standing relationship between the rich and poor. Ever since the beginning of civilization, people have organized their social institutions to secure the inequitable distribution of goods that were always until recently in short supply. Now the inequity that divides humankind is international. People are inhabitants of rich nations or of poor nations, and the rich go on living at the expense of the poor. And the final paragraph in this is, from historic habit, nations make policy and people continue to root their morality in the assumption that there can never be enough to go around. The Industrial Revolution has confuted that assumption. If people will use industrial technology equitably and wisely, they may at last, in the words of Indira Gandhi, make this only earth a fit home for man. The concept of how we have designed ourselves being based historically on a scarcity assumption, when technology now makes it possible for us to design based on an abundance or at least a sufficiency assumption. It was known back in '91, but it really doesn't get talked about enough. This notion of our fundamental reality being one where there is enough for everyone, especially if we use the unlimited supply of energy from the sun. So that's something, as a designer, I hope this design conference takes advantage of, that we really are living in a world where it's possible for us all to make it. It doesn't have to just be a dream. It doesn't just have to be a moral argument. It really is a scientific principle. And in order to help accomplish that, there's an insight I'd like to share from an innovation I came across. One of the big players in corporate social responsibility is General Electric. And Jeff Immelt even signed GE up to the UN Global Compact last November. GE owns NBC Universal, and so they don't just make things, they also entertain us. And NBC Universal includes the Sci-Fi Channel, which a couple of years ago created an initiative called Visions for Tomorrow. It's a public service outreach effort to use the power of science fiction to communicate with the public about what kind of a future we can have, using storytelling, using all the tools that science fiction brings to bear to help people think about what can the future look like. This initiative is virtually unknown to the CSR community, but it can potentially be a tremendous partner, especially now that General Electric has signed on to the UN Global Compact. There's an advisory board that's stellar. It includes people like Sir Richard Branson and the inventor Dean Kamen, a politically connected person, John Podesta, who was Clinton's chief of staff. This is a huge resource. I really encourage us in the CSR movement to find a way to leverage, to communicate with Mr. Immelt about the potential he's got to do good in creating a critical mass of support from the public for socially responsible business. Especially given that if you ask your ordinary person on the street about business right now, they immediately think of Wall Street, they immediately think of how business has destroyed value almost across the scale. How great would it be if the public knew that the CSR movement existed, and if GE got credit for helping wake the public up to this marvelous part of the business world, which again gets so little attention. I researched the New York Times website. They have never written an article in 10 years that the UN Global Compact has existed about the UN Global Compact. You don't hear stories on the major networks about our movement, but we can reach the public through innovations like the Sci-Fi Channel's Vision for Tomorrow initiative, and one other bit of research I discovered was that the Jimmy Stewart Museum, and that's another great home of entertainment, is looking to celebrate 2009 as the 70th anniversary of the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, which came out in 1939 in October. And that's a movie with a business story at its core. And if we want the corporate social responsibility movement to be part of the American public policy making conversation, how fantastic would it be if we partnered with the Jimmy Stewart Museum, which is looking for ways to celebrate that anniversary, and turn that anniversary into part of a national dialogue on just what exactly are we going to have as a relationship between business and society. Are we going to continue to give business what it wants to the extent that doesn't serve all of society, or are we going to create a better balance? And since entertainment gives people ways to think about all this, I'm personally in touch with the Jimmy Stewart Museum and am trying to build that bridge between their desire for this celebration and the CSR movement. So those are the insights and innovations I wanted to share. Delighted to be here from New York for the second time. I was at the first Business as an Agent of World Benefit conference, and am thrilled that the work is continuing and growing and developing. Thanks very much for this chance to share.
So hi, my name is Isabel Rimanozzi, and I was just inspired to share something in the last session of Jeffrey Sachs. He talked about a lot of things, but one of the things he said was, if things are so serious, how come there is so little awareness, and the problem of awareness. And then I said, oh, I need to share something, because I just launched with some colleagues an experiment very short time ago, a week ago, that is a group on Facebook, and it is called Awareness and Legacy Virus. And it is an experiment because it is the first positive virus. So what we are trying, our intent is that as people start to pass it over to their friends, it will create a pause to try to think and create awareness about what is the legacy, what is our footprint that we are making daily. And just as a way to start to spread intentionality, or at least create a pause of reflection and say, okay, wait a moment, what is the mark that I am leaving on the planet with my decisions that I'm leaving on others when we interact? Really, with every daily behavior, we are leaving fingerprints, mind prints, footprints, and just to create that awareness. And we think it as a virus because as people in Facebook start to share it with their friends that may be interested or may be ready, it will multiply. So that's the experiment, and I wanted to share it with you and look it up. That's it.
Susan Stellick, Professor of Communication, New York University, Stern School of Business. Okay. I'm here in Cleveland for the first time. Excited to be here as a University of Wisconsin graduate and used to drive between Madison and New York many times, and every time we went through Cleveland in the 60s we used to hold our breath because of all the pollution. So I'm here today to say thank you, Cleveland. I love what you've done. It's a beautiful city. I'm definitely coming back again and hope to go to the Rock and Roll Museum tonight if you give me any time to have on my own. So here's my quick brief, and I wrote 3 notes for the conference. The conference has been very stimulating to me. I came here because of Cooper Ryder and all of his work, and heard him at the UN and think he's brilliant, and encourage him and give him a rest. He's working too hard, okay? So that's number 1. But in terms of a forum and getting some really brilliant, wonderful people, there's one person I haven't met here that I didn't want to talk to a lot longer. And that's the essence of my message on the forum. When you bring this many people together with stimulating ideas and stimulating content, you need to give us more time to process that content. So my message to the world and to all of you here, thank you for having me. It's stimulating, it's brilliant, this is going to move forward. Trust yourselves. You've got a great message and you've got great ideas that need to be developed. The only way they're going to be developed is if you listen to us and include more women. There were not enough women on the panels, on the forums, or anywhere, but if you looked on the floor, there were a lot of women. And the energy that we've learned between having women and having men together is that it creates a dynamic that allows that kind of creative thinking that you're looking for to come about. But when you don't have enough of them showcased in your performance, it becomes very difficult to start listening. And as a matter of fact, it starts to wear on a woman's thinking. So I'm almost 60 years old, 22 years in finance, always working my way up the ladder. And at this point in my life, I think it's important to articulate this and a little bit of advice. There are plenty of women. If you need the recommendations, I'll give them to you. We need to put more up front. The second thing is we need to have more listening. Most of the people that I've talked to here just got started on their ideas and we were moving in the right direction, and then we were told to stop. You can't do that. It's interrupting, I think, everything you wanted to create in this conference. So give us a little bit more time and let us really follow through on our thinking. This is face-to-face time. We'll create the virtual time, we'll connect with each other later on, but this is valuable face-to-face, and for that, I have to thank you tremendously. You can count on me as a support. Just bring more women to the table, okay? Thank you, good luck, and thank you, Case.
Hello, my name is Sudhir Raghupathy. I'm a graduate of the Weatherhead School of Management and Organizational Behavior and Entrepreneurship. I'm also a key contributor to a weblog called realneo.us. And I have a real passion for positive change and sustainable community development. I wanted to talk today about the implementation of a full circle supply chain for local foods economy for Cleveland. This has actually been constructed over the course of the last year or so in building strategic partnerships with key stakeholder partners in the community. We envision doing this local foods implementation by simply starting with connection to local food growers that we know of through networks like localfoodcleveland.org, run by Peter McDermott, through larger networks like E4S, run by Holly Harlan, and also just really want to bring a full citywide collaboration to bear. What we're doing now is connecting and mapping out all the local growers and local producers of fresh organic vegetables. And this is an advantage to do that because having irradiated produce from 3,000 miles away makes no sense environmentally or health-wise. The other thing we're doing is we're just finding an alternative energy, sustainable means of conveying these vegetables obtained at a fair rate from local growers and then sold to higher end buyers, buyers that are restaurateurs, for example, or corporate buyers. Now, a strategic partner on the web platform and dissemination of that side of things is Fresh Fork Market. Another Case alum friend of mine, Trevor Clatterbuck, is partnering with me on that part. The other part we're doing is an exciting opportunity to grow these local organic vegetables year-round. And this is done in conjunction with Executive Director Tim Smith of Cleveland Heights from the Cleveland Greenhouse Project. Now, I'm currently working with a team of 5 or 6 very strong MBA caliber individuals and a team of composters and aquaculture experts to bring vertical farming strategies and opportunities in conjunction with innovative greenhouse strategies like geodesic dome structures to create vegetables year-round in the wintertime, creating local veggies. This is going to create a new economy here in Cleveland and help facilitate it. There are already many other partners I haven't mentioned doing pieces and parts of this, and they would all be more than welcome to be part of this full circle supply chain. I'm really excited about what's happening, and we're just moving forward at a nice brisk pace. The Cleveland Greenhouse Project, the Fresh Fork Market, the missing component, I think, to this local foods is definitely City Fresh, a community-supported agriculture piece. And in this case, we're bringing together 2 of them because Fresh Fork Market has a small CSA as well. And the City Fresh program has been around for a long time. And they're well respected and have well over 1,500 food shares they distribute throughout the city. We'd like to ramp that number up, and it is Tim Smith and the Cleveland Greenhouse Project's core priority to ramp that number up into the multi-thousands. And we'll do that by making this whole system work in a way that creates prosperity for all stakeholders, rich or poor, black or white, gay or straight. Everyone will benefit from the model that we're trying to design. Again, I'm really excited about what's happening. The little pieces that fill the gaps include composting, vermicomposting. The aquaculture piece in the vertical farms is going to be exciting. I've designed some core aquaponics theory on realneo.us. We're implementing some of it with global leaders like Growing Power and also another thought leader from Columbia University that we're looking to reach out to. So it's all coming together in a beautiful way. And the whole idea is to lead by example, work with smart strategic partners, pull everyone together. And as a simple conclusion, I'd like to talk about the exponential opportunity to ramp up this local foods economy. If we take, for example, 3 core funders, one like Jumpstart, for example, and a few others, the Cleveland Foundation and someone else, and then we look at that opportunity in a pyramid fashion to take 300 growers, local growers that we know of that have the need for income. And then we take from beyond that 3,000 suppliers, folks that supply the tools or the soil or the natural fertilizers or any other products that help make the supply chain go. We're looking at creating and driving an entirely local economy that again creates a more sustainable result, many more new jobs, new workforce opportunities for many times stigmatized and underprivileged populations, and green jobs opportunities through partners like the Green Jobs Academy and other training community development-based groups. It all makes a lot of sense. I look forward to being part of this and helping to facilitate it, and that's my innovation for us here in Cleveland locally. Thanks.
So I'm Hema Popkarna, and I was made in India, and right now I'm from Chicago. I'm the director of the program called Journeys of Life, a program to promote health, wholeness, and disease prevention. And I am trained as a biochemist and work at the University of Chicago. And I'm also a trustee on the board of the Parliament of World Religions. And I'm just thrilled to be here. And I'm also certified in appreciative inquiry. And what I want to share is the excitement and the possibility of peace. And what I have created and what I'd like to share with the world and want participation for is I invited 500 people from different, like 18 faiths and religions under the theme of Prepare for Peace, a collaboration for alternatives to violence. And I want all people from religions who think that their religion is best in the world to now come up with the thought process as to how can we now make our religion best for the world and make the world a peaceful place and bring just one tiny value from your faith and belief system. And so in that process, I made this Prepare for Peace, and I have this Prepare for Peace t-shirt that I'd like to show off. And this is my t-shirt, and it says Prepare for Peace. It's a symbol which says stop the violence, or you won't be part of, or you'll be extinct. That won't be life. And this is the best part of it. There are different ways that one can be peaceful and harmonious. And I think one piece missing over here is be vegetarian. Move towards vegetarianism, respect life, and revere life. So that's the message I want to give. Be healthy, wealthy, and wise, and it's very easy, and that non-violence is only breath away. And if we all can sit quietly and still and watch our breath, we can make this world a peaceful, sustainable, enjoyable. Thank you. Namaste.
Okay, well, I just wanted to stop in and say that I'm really in the middle of a wonderful conference here, a wonderful World Forum. I'm getting a chance to really meet people from all over the world. All the tables that I sit at are so diverse in terms of both people's background, ages, country, religion, occupation, as we try to understand more about sustainability, massive innovation and design thinking. And one of the things that I wanted to say is that the people that I'm sitting around as we talk at the end of the day, and I'm saying it this way because it's not just me, we are amazed at the offerings that have been given, the great, wonderful presentations and the combinations of thoughts and really strong both research and experience and dedication that these speakers are demonstrating. So I say to the young people that I'm meeting here, I said, this might be life-changing for you, but it's also for me. And I'm an old person, so I'm just thinking, this is also life-changing for me. This is very, very powerful and important meeting. And so I wanted to say that, and I also wanted to say that my students from Ohio University on 7 different regional campuses are also attending this conference by way of the virtual forum. And so I couldn't be more excited that the whole arrangement and that technology today and the hospitality of the people that are doing this particular conference have had in order to take the time to actually invite the rest of the world into this conference, to see these incredible speakers and read the papers and the presentations that are up on the virtual forum. To me, this is a multiplying effect. It's critical for the issues that we're talking about and the change that needs to be made. And so it's now almost the end of the second day of the conference, and I am just really grateful. And my mind is spinning with really important information to digest. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, this morning we were part of a collaborative session where we were just brainstorming different ideas. And so I wanted to share a couple of them that came out that I thought were really funny. Some of them were mine, some of them were others. It doesn't matter whose ideas they were. But one was somehow promote sustainability through a professional wrestler. What would that look like? I don't know. Another one was to get a sustainable NASCAR car into the circuit, something that's powered with, primarily by sustainability and emphasized driving towards power sports. and to penetrate that segment of the population with the sustainable message, but through power sports. And I thought that was kind of a unique approach. One of them that I laughed at was to come up with parodies of pop songs, kind of like Weird Al Yankovic, to come up with these songs that use the popular songs of the day, top artists, but then rework the lyrics to promote sustainable values. So I thought those are some that were pretty funny. There's more, but they're escaping me now. Hi, my name is Jeff Rockwood. I'm a Weatherhead alumni, MBA, from 2007. And I heard about the first Global Forum, but I wasn't able to attend. So I've been looking forward to attending this 2009 Business as a World Benefit Global Forum. And I have to say I'm impressed. I wasn't sure what to expect. I really came in with low expectations, but it's been really encouraging. It's been encouraging to hear a lot of positive news, things that aren't making the headlines. The headlines can be gloom and doom, but as one of the speakers have said, that it's the best of times and the worst of times. And so I'm quite encouraged to hear all that's moving in the renewable energy front, as well as sustainability around the globe. It's really cool. Yeah, it also is encouraging to see that there's a lot of sharp minds tackling the opportunities. There's a lot of models being developed and prototyped and tested, and the results are coming in, and we're adjusting our approach. It's really cool to see. It's great to be a part of the collaborative effort, a design process in the works through the forum. Also, it's encouraging personally. I'm trained in IBM software development processes, particularly design and analysis, gathering stakeholder requests. A lot of the same principles that I've been trained in through the IBM standards are actually at use within the sustainable development and design concepts and in other industries, not just software development, and including the iterative and the prototyping, proof of concepts. Those are things that I learned in the 90s and are actively in use in interdisciplines throughout the world, which is really cool. Obviously, there's a lot of challenge. There's urgency in terms of the climate situation and the status. There's urgency with population growth and the limited resourcing and the distribution of those resources. So it's good to get instilled with that sense of urgency. It's good to come together and also see that there's a lot of complexity. There's a lot of necessary collaboration across diverse stakeholders that all have their different interests and their different lingos. And so there's a real challenge in collaboration and complexity. But there's passion and there's a unification on the ideal, and it's encouraging to be with such a large group of people, very sharp minds tackling that have that same shared value system that say, you know, there's an ideal out there, and we can iterate our way, you know, and learn along the way, fail forward to make progress towards turning this crisis around and becoming much more sustainable in our approach to using business as a key building block to society, not merely a venture for personal gain. So I'm excited to be part of the forum. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, my name's Tony, Tony Cordons. I came here from out of California. Originally I'm from New Zealand. I've been interested in appreciative inquiry, David's work, Frank Barrett's work, many others for several years. I'm a consultant. I'm also an educator and administrator at a couple of different universities. So it's been a terrific conference. I really appreciate the principles. There is one question that I had yesterday, in the session yesterday, that I didn't get a chance to actually express, and I was hoping to be able to try and put that together in some way here. And the deans were really referring to, the business school deans were referring to how they're redesigning their own programs from being narrow and static and changing them to really address the issues of sustainability and globalization. So my question was really around how we bring the voice of the oppressed and the disenfranchised into this design process. I've been very conscious and mulling this over as I've been here of how is this environment inclusive of those voices, and we are the privileged. We're the privileged as the deans, we're the privileged as the educators, we're the privileged who can arrive here into this space. And we have many technologies and methods of bringing in different voices, and David has really given us one. So my question is really, how do we bring in the voice of the disenfranchised into the redesign of management education in a way that really helps us do the sort of transformative design that we need and say we cherish. My anxiety or fear is that we as the privileged end up redesigning with great intentions, but essentially redesigning the proverbial chairs on the Titanic. And how do we do things like, I've been trying to think of some solutions. Do we structure conferences like this in ways such that the fees that we gather from the privileged enable 10% of folks who are disenfranchised, who have lost their jobs as a result of the crisis, or who have really experienced some of the downsides of our current or existing management education system? And I guess there's a lot of dilemmas that are inherent to how we do that, how we're not patronizing as we do that, how we help people who don't feel as articulate to actually speak in front of an audience. So how we actually bring that voice in, what are the structures and processes we would use to do that is something I've been mulling over. And I think we really owe it to ourselves to have that depth and quality of process here, and to be, really reflecting on the great works like Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed. How do we bring those deeper meanings into this kind of structure? So that's really what I want to say or want to question, and I know I'll be mulling it over and keep thinking about that myself. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Nina Terry and I'm from Australia, Canberra, and I have been doing research at the University of Canberra on organisations adopting design, particularly social system design, and I also work for a design firm in Canberra called Think Place, creating the environment to help people think and solve their problems. Coming here has been absolutely fantastic. The calibre of speakers and the concepts and ideas have just been phenomenal, and I was really moved by yesterday when we had a number of people speak, Atcroft, Sengi, Buchanan, talk about the wider system and what does design mean in terms of building a sustainable future and what it plays, because they're wildly complex problems, but without trying to tackle those, I don't think we'll make some systemic change. So fantastic few days and well worth my trip. Thank you.
My name is Beatrice Murillo. I'm affiliated with Coalition for a Sustainable Africa. Of all the wonderful experiences I've had at this forum, the most important one is how World Inquiry is a wonderful resource for small-scale social entrepreneurs who have little or very limited resources.
Good afternoon. My name is Dane. I'm here. I live in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm privileged to have been able to participate the last 3 days in this conference. I work in the recycling industry for the Cuyahoga County Solid Waste District. I spend most of my days helping businesses start, expand, and improve waste reduction and recycling programs. Literally anything from an Eaton Corporation or an Alcoa to a salon or a strip mall, an apartment building. So I'm very passionate about sustainability. And this week is particularly special for me because it's my first week as a part-time MBA student at Weatherhead. And I'm just feeling an incredible sense of gratitude that I'm going to get choked up, that this conference took place my first week of Weatherhead. I think occasionally in life you get a sense that you're in the right place at the right time. And this conference for me is a confirmation of that. I'm in the right place at the right time. And my first class at Weatherhead is statistics. For those of you who've had it, it's definitely not the easiest class. But I'm actually enjoying it so far and I'm learning. But to have this conference going on where I'm just so inspired and learning so much, whether it's about cradle to cradle or our relatedness, or the fact that, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? I'm just so inspired to action and very grateful to CASE and the UN Global Compact, Dr. Cooper Ryder and Ron Fry and Jean and Emily and everyone who's involved. So I want to say thank you.